Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. The Prime Minister and Opposition leader in St. Lucia clash on John Compton Dam desilting project. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Monday, 29th May 2023. Details when we return.
Hubbard's Motor Department Mount Gay and Hubbard's Tire Bay, located at the Building Supplies compound in Grand Anse, are reminding the motoring public that another round for licensing and inspection has begun. Just arrived on new shipments of quality furrowed and torque tires to fit all makes and models of vehicles at competitive pricing. Shop early to avoid the hassle of long lines. WhatsApp them on 473-405-5482. Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices.
Welcome back. The failed desilting of the John Compton Dam, despite millions of dollars spent, a forensic audit will soon shed light on what really went wrong. HTS News Force's Joachim Duplessis reports.
Opposition leader Alan Chasney has reacted to recent remarks made by Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre about the John Compton Dam desilting project. A lengthy missive from the opposition's office has labeled the Prime Minister's comments as unfounded allegations.
The John Compton desilting project was supposed to be complete. It's not. I guess these are the things the opposition should account for. Should tell us why it's not complete. Tell us why you spent all that money. Why? These are the conversations I want to have with the opposition.
For his part, Prime Minister Pierre stated that a soon-to-be-released report will offer more clarification on the desilting project.
Very soon, we've commissioned a report. The report is going to be public in a very short time.
The office of the leader of the opposition raises concerns about this report, stating, "We understand the foreign firm Forensic Services Caribbean, based in Curacao, has been contracted at a substantial sum to do this audit, while this sum could be channeled by WASCO to perform urgent infrastructural works on the ground and critically improve the water supply for the people of St. Lucia. We only hope that this report is accurate and provides true information that matches the information on file at WASCO, the NURC, and CDB." Prime Minister Pierre is hopeful that the audit report will shed light on irregularities in the project and its financing. Pierre, who says that the project should have been completed by now, placed the blame for the delay on the Alan Chasney administration, while Chasney accuses the Prime Minister of playing politics and misleading the people. Joachim Duplessis, HTS News Force.
Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness is announcing a new phase of compensation review. This new phase introduces a performance evaluation system as well as an accountability framework. Javin McLean of CVM Live has some details.
While the recent salary increases aim to attract and retain talent in the public sector, a new performance evaluation system will ensure that civil servants, including politicians, are held accountable and remunerated based on their efforts.
But the compensation review is not only about pay, salaries, or remuneration. The compensation review is also about establishing a system of performance management and an accountability framework. Those two things go together to form the productivity element of the transformation of the public sector.
The PM says this system is expected to be fully developed in 2 years and will boost public sector productivity.
Another element of increasing the productivity of workers is to establish a clear and transparent system of measuring effort. One thing you wouldn't want is for somebody putting out less effort and getting more pay than somebody who puts out more effort.
Holness says that the new system will not only increase salaries to match the rate of inflation, but also to reward the efforts of the public sector workers who continue to build Jamaica.
So yes, we want to keep salaries on par with inflation so that you're not losing value because the dollar has lost value and prices have increased relative to your income. That's not, that is important. But what is also important is how much more have you contributed to the output of the country that you can claim back on your pay.
Javine McLean, CVM Live.
In the meantime, Natalia Clark of CVM Live tells us, as the conversations surrounding the announcement that the political directorate is to benefit from a significant salary hike continue, it was revealed that the Prime Minister's decision to forego the increases will also impact past and future heads of government. It appears Prime Minister Andrew Holness's decision to refuse his salary increase to the tune of 214% is binding for both past and future heads of government.
For the foreseeable future, the salary will remain at $9.1 million annually, the equivalent of 764,000 Jamaican dollars monthly.
What the Prime Minister asked is that the scale for Prime Minister remain as it is. So that is the salary scale. It's not an individual Andrew Holness decision. He has asked that the salary scale for Prime Minister remain unchanged.
Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark also assures the nation the Prime Minister will not benefit from changes in allowances. Whatever it was prior to the compensation reform is what it will continue to be. He urges the public to not see this process in isolation. Instead, see it as an effort to improve the country.
Recognition of the fact that these are members who we task with the responsibility of approving multi-billion-dollar multi-billion-dollar buildings, multi-billion-dollar hotels. This is the responsibility of local government. We have to ensure that the remuneration is consistent with the responsibilities and hence the reforms at the local government level that we've undertaken.
And as the opposition is raising questions about Holness's authority to order the office of the Prime Minister's salary remain unchanged and seeking to assess if it was or was not a cabinet decision, the Information Minister provides a response.
The increase in parliamentary salaries was not a matter that came on the cabinet's agenda for discussion and decision. It was an automatic pegging that has been happening for over 30 years. And I think the minister has said it numerous times, I have said it numerous times, but there seems to be, in the whole conversation, some attempt to ignore the facts that have been presented by us.
The government ministers again insists the national compensation overhaul agenda is to modernize governance in Jamaica. Natalia Clark, CVM Live.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Minister of Rural Development and Local Government Faris Al-Rawi said there is no way political leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar will escape the facts of the Piarco International Airport scandal in Trinidad and Tobago, in which her party is linked. TTT News has more.
Speaking to party supporters at a political meeting at City Hall in San Fernando on Thursday night, Minister Al-Rawi addressed the circumstances that led to the multi-billion-dollar Piarco corruption case that dates back almost 3 decades ago.
Knew that Trinidad and Tobago got millions of United States dollars and you had sworn evidence of guilt. How could you have done what you did? And folks, I'm raising this in this meeting today because they are back offering themselves in all their yellow glory.
Minister Al-Rawi also noted that when he was the Attorney General pursuing this case, he was targeted.
In getting live threats made to me as to why I should stay out and what go happen if I continue, and watching the skirting and watching the flirting, I just want to tell you, it is not lost on me that in 2010, when the UNC took control, the Piarco civil matter went to bed. The lawyers have written confirming they could not get instructions from Attorney General Anand Ramlogan.
The government says there is no need for what it argues will be an expensive commission of inquiry into the Antigua Airways saga, and neither does the Governor General have the authority to establish one. Attorney General Stedroyd Benjamin spoke with ABS News on the matter on Friday last, saying he's confident the government would be vindicated in court if the case were to head there. Garfield Burford of ABS News reports.
I have with me, three opinions.
The Attorney General bolstered by three illegal opinions, which he says buttress his position that only the Cabinet has the legal authority to declare a commission of inquiry into the Antigua Airways West African migrants saga. ABS has seen the legal opinions which the Attorney General has in his possession. All three are from King's Councils in the United Kingdom.
I'm satisfied that the government's position is correct in law, and we, at the appropriate time, if challenged, will defend any matter brought before the courts in this regard.
The Attorney General says the legal eagles who have provided the information are specialists in this field of constitutional law. He quotes from one of the opinions he has received.
According to Phillips, who wrote the book Commonwealth Caribbean Constitutional Law in 2002, at page 326, where statute confers power on the GG, those powers cannot be exercised by him in his deliberate judgment, but upon the advice of Cabinet or a minister delegated by the Cabinet. This is in keeping with the convention that the sovereign acts on the advice of the Cabinet. The sovereign must not enter into the political arena with all that implies for confrontation with the Cabinet and members of the opposition.
The AG explains why he is not unveiling at this point the names of the three specialist attorneys in this area of the law from whom he has received the three legal opinions.
I was told by WhatsApp that it could be subject to a court matter. Therefore, I can't go into details and disclose who the people are. I only read certain sections of the opinions. One, which was not concerning us, was 2002, and two, in 2023.
Former Attorney General Justin Simon King's counsel, however, says the Governor General has absolute discretion to call a commission of inquiry. Simon says the Commission of Inquiry Act gives the Governor General that discretion, saying, quote, "It is lawful for the Governor General, whenever he shall deem it advisable, to issue a commission appointing one or more commissioners," end quote. However, the Attorney General says how this is interpreted is the key.
Many times, you see, lawyers tend to read legislation and give them their literal interpretation without researching properly the words that they've read. I'll say no more on that point.
In the meantime, Garfield Burford tells us again, the government is aiming to begin consultations within the next 3 months on the way forward for judge-only trials.
Leader of Government Business in the Senate, Samantha Marshall, outlining the main amendment being made, the extension of the provision for judge-alone trials by another year. The original legislation was passed during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, when social distancing meant it was difficult to have juries in all criminal trials.
It does not happen for all cases, criminal cases. And I believe in our legislation of 2021, we did highlight primarily those cases of which there would be trial by judge alone, and also given the option to the accused as to whether or not he would wish to have a trial by judge alone or trial by jury.
Consultations will be held during this additional year with various stakeholders to determine the way forward. Senator Marshall says the overarching goal should be to improve the administration of justice.
But it does us no good if we do not move with modern times and understand how we can better serve our people. I'm not saying throw out the jury at all. I don't want anybody to leave here saying that. But what I am saying, there needs to be some permanent adjustment within our system to allow our criminal matters to be handled more efficiently, effectively, and in a way that the people, at the end of the day, will have confidence in the system.
Leader of Opposition Business in the Senate, Sean Nicholas, wanted to be certain that the legislation was not going to be permanent.
But the explanatory memorandum tells us that it will now become a permanent part of our criminal justice system. So I'm not sure if that was a typo. Okay, so that was our only concern. And of course, the argument laid out by the leader of government business, it was a well-debated topic or piece of legislation, the time when we did it, and it doesn't bear repeating all that was said, as it's already recorded in Hansard.
Hubbards is once again innovating the way you shop with its new online store, providing 24-hour shopping convenience. You can shop now for appliances, hardware, houseware, building material, and more. Free delivery island-wide. Start shopping now at hubbardsHardware.gd. Safe, convenient, reliable.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.